part, as we went in deeper into the mid game, Vici Gaming just seemed to find all the right openings against Team Empire. I mean, they were patient, they waited for that opening, and when they pounced hard.
Yeah, that near Roche fight where they killed Resolution twice, nobody had buyback because they didn't anticipate needing it that time of the game. Like, they just took a Roshan, they got an Aegis. Why would you need buyback? And then they get wiped. Remaining. The creep wave happens to be by the mid tower. They just take a free racks off of that, and then everything just falls apart for Empire. And I just feel like this is not the Empire that I've been watching this entire year. But again, I don't want to blow this out of proportion whatsoever because it's their first game of TI. Like, anything can happen. I've been seeing it all day, actually, Cap. It's like, if a team wins the first game, they're the best. The other team is absolutely terrible, and then it reverses.
I was actually just talking to your waifu Purge about that very fact, and the fact that EG lost their first game against Newbie,
like they're terrible.
but then they managed to come back in game number 2 and was very dominant in that game too. So this group stage is holding a lot of surprises and a lot of very close series. It seems like we're just going to be seeing one-ones just polluting the whole entire group. But for game number 2 here, Vici Gaming starting things off. We're going to have a Gyrocopter banned away, as well as the Tusk. Team Empire will ban away both the Leshrac as well as the Bounty Hunter. Queen of Pain immediately picked up by Vici.
Yeah, the Queen of Pain. What else is there to say about it? Like, it's just like
overall strong hero, no matter what.
You pick the Queen of Pain, then you pick the Shadow Fiend and something like an Earthshaker on Team Empire, or you take the Rubik for yourself. Like, that's what I would do if I was Team Empire. You could take Dazzle as well. Like, the 3 heroes that I think right now are good for Empire to take are the Shadow Fiend, the Dazzle, or the Rubik. Because Always Want to Fly and Aloha Dance play sick Rubiks. And if you just saw what FY did to their bodies, like, there's no way you let that slip.
Yeah, and especially since Vici Gaming went ahead and brought it up in the very first round, you know, if you leave that Rubik, they may very well do the same thing. But Team Empire are going to throw us a curveball here. Instead, we're starting off with a Spirit Breaker, and we need to wait a little bit more time, I guess, for our second pickup, which is going to be the Dazzle. Okay, that makes sense in that the Dazzle pairs really well with the Spirit Breaker, and it's one of the heroes you suggested, but Spirit Breaker is not a very common 1-2 pickup, that's for sure. It is very good versus Queen of Pain, though.
If one of the 3 Merlinis predicted that, then they just deserve my job. Like, if you,
it's fine.
If you actually thought that Spirit Breaker was going to be the first pick on Empire when they have Radiant and they could take SF, you just take it. Like, I'll tell Valve tomorrow. You know, it's like if Winter predicted that, you know, here's my salary. Like, it was just, I could not have seen that coming. And Vici Gaming with the common counter to that. This is why you don't pick Spirit Breaker.
Yep, Winter Wyvern incredibly strong versus Spirit Breaker. Cold Embrace, perfect. You've got also the ever-present Winter's Curse that is, you know, a monster in team fights as well. So
wait a second though. Greater Bash and Nether Striker magic damage.
They are.
So it's not even a counter. Booyakasha, Spirit Breaker.
I mean, he's still putting out a lot of right clicks, though, right?
No, dude, he's got really terrible
when you talk about the magic damage, it seems like it's going to be not outdone, but it's going to be heavily mitigated by the heal part, right? So yes, you're dealing magic damage, but you're also getting a percentage-based heal, and the physical damage that you're outputting with your right clicks isn't doing anything.
Okay, Austin. Because most people are going to be watching the stream and not in the Dota game.
Yes.
Let's just throw some predictions out there. Okay.
All right. Yeah, I like this. I like this.
Who do you think will win this game, and by what minute?
Starting off with the first one too.
Yes.
I'm gonna say Vici Gaming by 38 minutes.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. So Empire.
That might be a little early, but.
What are their cores? You think they're going to take Sanking or Shaker for Yoki? That's a pretty fair assumption. Which one's better though? It's got to be the Sanking, right? Especially against a Queen of Pain and a Winter.
Yeah, I believe so.
Sanking's so good against both those heroes. Sanking's sick against Queen of Pain.
I mean, so is Earthshaker.
Yeah,
it's just
the ult is so much more reliable. You don't feel as bad for some reason when you just single target ulti somebody with Sanking versus when you do it with the Earthshaker. Does that make sense?
Not me.
Really?
When I play Earthshaker, I'm slam jam one man all the time, baby.
No, but the thing is, I almost feel as if Sanking is easier to deal damage because you don't have to have conditions like you need like at least like 2 or 3 creeps.
I think Blitz, when you play Earthshaker, you need to let loose a little bit more.
No, maybe that's okay.
I Echo Slam creeps.
Okay, so here's my predictions right now.
Okay.
I'm gonna be some god tier analysis here. Okay.
You're trying to reclaim your job from Winter?
No, I can't. If he took that Spirit Breaker, then I lost. Okay, so I think that Yoki's gonna be playing Sand King. I think that Silent is going to be playing...
I mean, are we just disregarding entirely the Spirit Breaker offlane?
Remaining.
I think it's going to be a support.
Okay.
5 seconds
I don't think it's
remaining.
reliable enough for Empire. Like, that's not the style that they like to play. They almost like to run it as if there's 3 supports, right?
Pick.
And the Spirit Breaker is more of a farming-oriented core, especially if... I don't like that whole concept of, like, if you're just going to charge mid from the offlane, then... you might as well be a support, right? Because you're just going to be under-leveled, and if the whole point is just to get to level 2 so you can charge and annoy people, then it's pointless anyways, right? Okay, so here's my lay down.
Okay.
I think Resolution's going to be SF or... is he a Storm player?
Yeah.
Okay, it's an offlane Spirit Breaker. You know what? Let's just pretend I didn't do this.
You did this whole entire wind-up based around Spirit Breaker support, and I'm just like, well, I gotta bring it up.
I don't really like it as that, but...
okay.
I think the Disruptor is... okay, I think when they first picked it, they were gonna run it, but then they saw the Queen of Pain and the Winter Wyvern, and Disruptor so good against them. You know what? I'm actually really surprised that this hero isn't picked more. Like, this is the first time we've seen it today.
I agree.
I'm actually really surprised about that.
We saw it a lot more in the Wild Card series, but I agree. I mean, the Disruptor is incredibly strong versus the all the very popular intelligence cores that are being run right now. Queen of Pain, Leshrac,
Storm.
obviously Storm Spirit's going to be sneaking in there constantly. I mean, he never really truly goes away.
Like, there's just so many heroes that it's... and they ran it so often beforehand. Like, how often did we see Aloha Dance play, or Always Wanna Fly play this hero? Like, or Aloha Dance, actually, like every single game.
I was about to say, Always Wanna Fly is going to be playing
yeah.
Dazzle this game. So,
but okay, here are my bold predictions though.
Okay,
remaining.
I think that they're going to pick an anti-mage
Radiant
as a
Team
carry.
Empire?
Yes, as a carry, and I think they're going to pick an anti-mage, and I think they're going to pick a Beastmaster or Storm Spirit. I think those are the picks. I think
Beastmaster mid. Okay.
Yeah, Beastmaster or Storm Spirit mid because of the type of heroes that Vici Gaming have, but I think Beastmaster's sick. And I think Resolution actually plays the best Beastmaster in competitive Dota. I actually think it's just insane with it. Do you remember that Flying Hawk combination that he was in?
Yeah.
Just aerial bombing people? It's insane.
5
Or TA.
seconds
TA's not
remaining.
bad. No, not TA. It's got Storm, Beastmaster, or who's
Reserve
my carry?
time.
Anti-Mage. Yeah.
I mean, Animage is still going to have some issues, though, with Queen of Pain, right? Queen of Pain, Winter Wyvern. Like, you've got the lockdown of Winter's Curse plus the pure damage of Queen of Pain. It's not like hard counter or anything like that, but it is problematic.
Then just take a Bloodseeker.
Okay.
Same shit.
So now you're changing your predictions?
I'm listing like 10 heroes. Actually, Razor. Razor's the hero. Razor would be sick here. Razor would be
We
sick
haven't
here.
brought up the Viper Razor,
the Viper Razor
conundrum.
Well, this is a new set of teams. They probably just woke up and they're not even paying attention to this. They're just...
You're right. It's TI. They just woke up 10 minutes before the match.
You think Turtle
stumbled
Master's
in.
prepared for the U call? You think Zephyr prepared for the C call? You think we did any of that?
All right.
Cap, don't be ridiculous.
Team Empire. Ember Spirit's going to be the 4th pickup now. Not your hero at all.
Dude, I said Ember Spirit.
You did not say Ember Spirit. We have it on recording.
I said Spirit. You did not.
I'm sorry. Weapons, would you like to get in on this? Cameraman right here. All right.
What did he say?
You want to know what Weapons?
What did he say?
Magnus.
Magnus. Oh, he thinks okay.
10
No,
seconds
they need
remaining.
a carry. I think that's going to be a mid Ember Spirit. I said something Spirit, and I'm
5
pretty
seconds
certain it was
remaining.
Ember.
You said Star Spirit.
Dude, that's not even
Get
a
the
good
hell outta
hero.
here.
Don't talk to me. I definitely said.
Okay, Mr. Storm Spirit TV.
5
Dude, that's not
seconds
even a good hero
remaining.
anymore. Let's be real here.
Okay.
Okay, so
Vici Gaming, we have our mid. Okay, an off lane Undying.
Radiant
This
team
is
back.
very team fight oriented now. With the Hold of Winter's Curse setting up Queen of Pain as well as Undying. Our last pickup then. What's really good versus Ember Spirit?
What's really
10
for
seconds
Vici?
remaining.
Yeah, a general playstyle, not necessarily against an Ember Spirit himself, but like the general playstyle of Ember Spirit, which is like you're able to get aggressive relatively early, but you have this kind of like weird drop-off period in the mid game, where you get your Battle Fury, but you don't have Christus or Daedalus just yet.
You got to take some core that doesn't have mobility or doesn't heavily rely on it. Like Ember does really good against the Queen of Pain, right? Just because of the chains and you can't blink out of it. So if you're a carry, I don't know, something like. You know what would be sick here, actually? Man, I wish I could just draft, just to see how things go, you know? Not even because I think it would be good. Oh, Phantom Lancer would have been.
I was about to say, Phantom Lancer is super good. He gets out of the chains. You have the Spirit Breaker charge that can still lock down your...
It's got to be a BKB core for sure. Second item. I don't know, take like...
Team pick.
Razor or Viper?
Razor or Viper? I mean, Razor at that point in time would be the better pickup, right? Because he gives you pushing power, and he doesn't fall off quite as fast as the Viper.
I bet Silent just pick something like Jug or something, because that's his hero. Silent plays everything, though, let's be real. What did I say he'd play? Weaver would be pretty good here, too, for him. But I think it'll be...
10 seconds remaining.
Jug is a...
5 seconds
Jug is a
remaining.
Silent hero.
Storm Spirit.
What did I say? What did I say?
No,
I said they would take...
You forfeited the Storm. Dude, you threw the Storm Spirit under the bus.
I just said Spirit. I never specified.
You were disgusting.
I never specified. I never specified.
You're terrible at this. I'm getting Winter. I'm talking to Valve right now, and I'm going to get Winter in
back
here.
me up. I legit said one of the last two picks would be Storm Spirit, right? I said
Okay.
Let's be real here.
All right, why is Storm Spirit good here? I mean, you still have the lockdown of Winter's Curse, but not to be afraid of. But there is no other lockdown that Storm Spirit really fears other than that.
I think that the only time you can't pick Storm into heroes like this is just... I think it's just a bad angle to just assume that because there's a Winter Wyvern in the game that Storm is bad. Because no matter what mid hero you're going to pick, it's going to be annoying against. Like it's going to...
No, I agree. I'm pointing out the fact that Winter's Curse is the only ability
that's what I mean.
That's good versus Storm.
You're so happy about that because Resolution is going to have a field day.
Right.
He's actually just going to go insane. Can we just talk about Storm and the mid matchup this entire game? I would really like that.
Yeah, we'll get into it as the laning phase progresses. I'll give you your believe me, I'll give you a wide berth.
I'll actually just drop the 7K NA knowledge bombs, which is like 2K China or something like that. But.
Okay, but we have to talk about the Bloodseeker last pick though, because it's not a hero that is particularly strong against Storm Spirit unless you go with the Yule's combo.
It's
the Yule's
Silence combo. Even the Yule's Silence combo is really overrated because you just get a BKB
remaining.
Right.
And I think Bloodseeker, like, if you get a Yule Scepter, I think that you get too far behind almost.
Yeah. I would completely agree with you. So, in which case, why do we have this Bloodseeker?
Prepare for
I think it's just a good hero against the Ember Spear for one. You don't really allow him to get mobile on the map.
He's strong versus Spirit Breaker as well, for obvious reasons.
Yeah, it's good against both the supports as well, because those aren't inherently tanky supports. And I actually think Bloodseeker isn't terrible against Storm, because in some ways, if your entire team is low and the Bloodseeker can just right-click you out of the fight, then it's probably not too bad.
All right. Well, of course, we want to welcome in everybody who's joining us now on the main stream. Vici Gaming facing up against Team Empire. Game number 2 going to be casted by myself, Dota Capitalist, as well by Blitz, who is a Storm Spirit master. So as the laning phase is about to come to fruition here, and we're not going to be seeing any fighting over bounty runes, at least doesn't seem like it. Blitz, drop them 7K knowledge bombs. How does this go between Bloodseeker and Storm Spirit?
I've only played this matchup like 5 times. I think, especially with the new Bloodseeker. I don't even play Storm that much. Only like 350 games or something like that.
So I hype up your incredibly good Storm Spirit analysis, and you lead with, I've only played this matchup 5 times.
Yeah, well, because Bloodseeker in general isn't really a mid-hero that you see often.
No.
But I think this is in response to what everybody's showing. But if Resolution gets this bounty rune, he should be fine, because he's going to bring himself a salve, is what I would imagine. Yeah, he's doing that right now. And then the key here is that Bloodseeker, though, is so dangerous, because if your offlane gets low or your safe lane gets slow at all, like one of the supports gets traded off, then the Bloodseeker just runs at you and you can't really do much. Like, even the Remnant's not going to deter you very much. And so I think that's part of the reason why you can get away with doing this dual lane, right? Because you want to keep that top lane is full to HP as possible. And if you notice that Super's gone for both a Quelling Blade and a Portman Shield, so it's really hard for the Storm to deny him very much. So what you actually have to do is, whenever Resolution has a chance, he can't really... You can't just right-click the Bloodseeker non-stop, because you're not going to trade efficiently, because he'll just CS in front of your face. But the key is that you have to actively deny, and in the time period where Super can't get CS or denies, you have to right-click him as much as possible. Like, you notice that Resolution is moving up on him constantly, and now he's going to Remnant, and he's forcing him away. You see that?
Yep.
And so Super now is in a position where he doesn't have enough HP to fight against this.
Oh my god, he's almost going to
he's
die
actually,
here.
Storm has terrible move speed, but you notice that is that every single time, instead of going for one or the other, he pushes up with the wave, and it makes it difficult for Super to do what he wants, which is just sit in the middle of the wave. So now he has to ferry himself regen, and now there's going to be a full wave or two where Resolution can pretty much do whatever he wants, and once you get the bottle with Storm Spirit, you're pretty much dandy in this lane. Like, you can actually kill the Bloodseeker at a pretty reasonable time.
Yeah, this is a very momentum-based 1 versus 1, right? Like, once somebody gets a slight edge on the other, like, for example, the Storm Spirit with that last play damaging the Bloodseeker and bringing him low, he's then able to just aggressively push him out of lane, and the Bloodseeker can't rely. Now, bottom lane, Silent's going to be dropping low, will end up going down for the first blood. Winter Wyvern and the Undying. We're already putting so much pressure on this Ember Spirit, but now they're able to pick up an early kill on him. Good setup for Vici Gaming already, it seems, for
Super's
some of their lanes, but... Yep, Super going to be run out. Resolution finds that one, so even up that kill score 1-1.
That's even more significant as a mid laner. Then you don't really care if you get first blood or not, but the fact that you're able to solo kill the enemy mid means you're going to get a full level and experience over him, and you'll just get boots faster at the same time. And so that's probably even more worth it than getting the first blood is for Vici Gaming.
The charge comes out. Fenrir, 17%. Fenrir gets bashed one time.
No, he's not gonna get bashed
will
again.
ensure the kill.
Ice Frog.
Another right click. That's all they really need. Fenrir trying to juke his way through the trees, but they don't even need the bash. They get 2 more right clicks, and that will ensure the death. And Hao's now going to be pushed away by Yoki. Of course, the Bloodseeker is getting advantage out of Always Want to Fly being quite low. In fact, Hao, whoa, there comes a quick bash out. Hao, he's got to be real careful here. Yeah, to make the blink away, but now the charge is there. Hao, he's done for. Another right click, and of course, a bash to finish things off. It wasn't even needed, but Yoki likes to end things on style here as he gets a double kill. Back over to the middle lane, we watch Super drop quite low, as again, he just misses out on one of those right clicks and takes that remnant damage, and he's immediately dropping to very low HP.
The thing that's scary about the Bloodseeker, this is like the last thing I want to say about the matchup, because I don't want to just give an introductory course to playing mid, but every single time that Super misses a CS and he's in that position, it pretty much puts him within the kill threshold of the Storm Spirit, so he has to be really careful.
Yeah,
every single time he comes up.
Yeah, pretty much every single time he goes for a Blood Rage and challenges the Storm Spirit when he remnants down in order to get that CS, he cannot afford to miss that CS. Otherwise, he's going to be in some serious trouble. His resolution is. The silence has already been laid out. Super is able to run him down. Another right click, bottle up, resolution. He's good for one more. FY finally is able to get the kill and will be able to survive on top of that. FY gets away and now makes it a clean 3-3. Notice also that FY chose to go for the 2 levels of Arctic Burn very early on and not a level of Cold Embrace. Very offensive build by him.
Yeah, I think going for that is just overall better right now in this situation because he's trying to get aggressive on all the lanes and he wants to help out Super. He has to. In this type of situation where you're just leaving your Bloodseeker to try to catch up by himself, it's never going to happen because there's 0 kill potential from Super on the Resolution. If Resolution gets ruptured, then he'll just roll away.
Right.
And the silence will never hit, so he has to go before Resolution hits level 6. And Resolution has been playing really aggressively in this lane because he's trying to establish dominance. So it's just such a good play by FY to come at that timing. And he might even hit another really sick timing if he goes right now before Resolution actually hits this level 6. Because he needs these 2 creeps. Of course, there's 0 way for him to know that, but this isn't actually going to succeed because he's about to hit 6 off of these 2.
Yeah, so Resolution is good now. FY, knowing that, will now return back to the bottom lane where they may still be able to find an opening against that Ember Spirit.
Yeah, I think this is the correct play, just to apply as much pressure as you can to Silent, and this is the strength of Undying as a hero, because you can pretty much put him with any support, and you can contest. And Ember's already a hero that doesn't really have the best stats, so this might actually mean Silent's going to go down again. He has no idea about the invis.
Double slow too. Oh, they're going to be able to catch him. The kinetic field trying to give Silent enough room. The zombies are still chasing down Good Shall Grave from Always Want to Fly, and Silent will survive. as he gets both health potioned and a nice little heal out. They're quick to be able to stop Super. He tries to take advantage of that low HP hero by immediately rupturing up Resolution. Resolution just runs himself away, and Ball Lightnings as well. Bottom lane, they actually they're going to be able to get the glance back on FY. They immediately try and target him. Ice, knowing that he doesn't have a tombstone, is not going to be able to really threaten the supports that much. Well, he gets one, and maybe he'll get a second one. Always want to fly. He's going to be dove down into Decay, gets it. Double kill for Ice, and now Super's here as well. He doesn't have a Rupture. Silent does not have a Remnant either, as he's only level 4, but it seems the chains was enough to stop Super's aggression.
This is pretty sick by Empire as well. If you notice that both of their supports carried around salves, like everyone's carrying around salves, so that the Bloodseeker doesn't just run at them at supersonic speed, and it's a pretty good play. But Fenrir might be in trouble here if Resolution decides to go on this, and he's charged.
There is no way he gets away from this one with both Resolution and Yoki right there in Fenrir. No help really around whatsoever, so a free pick off for them, 5-5. Very even game number 2 so far anyway. Is any team really picking up an advantage outside of the kills? It seems Vici Gaming, slight one in both experience and gold. Where's that really coming from? Is it just the, it seems to be the Undying. The big change-up factor is the Spirit Breaker Dazzle can't put the same kind of pressure on Silent to slow him down. As you can see already, the pressure's there as Silent is now dealing with Tombstone and double slows out from the Winter Wyvern. Again, zombies trying to chase him down. They need to heal desperately, but always want to fly. Just a bit too late on that TP. And now Aloha Dance is the one who needs some trouble, but Ice has overextended himself. Dies as he dives into that tier 1 tower, and Aloha Dance will be okay. Health potions up, and the Bloodseeker is not on his way this time around.
Yeah, he had 700 move speed at one point, and so you're definitely seeing why they opted to go for the salves, but at the same time, Super's still heading down here, and one hit will pretty much drag them into red territory, and he should go at around more than haste, and so FY is gonna doesn't have the mana for this, but they can definitely dive if they want to.
Oh, they're very stuck. That Silent's going to be able to hit Aloha Dance in the background. Always want to fly. Is dropped low. There is the charge out. Yoki's actually been ruptured up. He doesn't seem to care, though. He completes his charge against FY, but now he's going to pay for it. He's surrounded by 3 different heroes. Good Shadow Wave, but that's not going to be anywhere near enough. Vici Gaming pick up yet another kill. The Resolution was on his way, but he realizes that without the Spirit Breaker, they can't really force this fight, nor should they anyway. It's up against an Undying. That hero is notorious for being able to win 10-minute fights.
Yeah, there's actually no reason for him to go down there, because at the same time, he doesn't have enough mana. He actually varies himself a Clarity, which I'm a pretty big fan of, because you don't want to have to bottle crow at this phase of the game, but you also want to be able to participate in fights.
Man, they do not stop trying to shut down Silent. He is just wanting to pick up his level 6. He's just like Storm Spirit in that regard, in that before he picks up level 6, he's very susceptible to ganks, and Vici Gaming are putting all the pressure on him, and Empire aren't even getting a good trade-off. Like, Vici Gaming are 5-manning down this bottom lane, but because the Resolution keeps on hesitating between bouncing back and forth between bottom lane and middle, he's not actually farming up the middle lane, and nobody is farming up that top lane. So Vici Gaming are getting free kills and a free tower with no trade-off, seemingly.
If Resolution had just farmed during that entire time, he would have been about 450 gold more in net worth than everybody else, and that would have been worth it, but this ward alone just ruined them, and that ward actually spotted the ward going down for them, so they're probably going to grab a sentry. I'd imagine it's flying in on the courier, yes. And so this ward has served 2 functions. It stopped 2 ganks from Resolution, because as soon as he started moving down, they went away. They have to have some knowledge that it's there, and they're going to get the D-ward off of this. So now they've just lost complete control of their jungle, and they've lost their carry multiple times. And so now Resolution, a lot comes down to him. He actually has to have a phenomenal game, because the rest of his lanes just haven't succeeded enough. There's just been a little bit too much pressure from this Undying.
Bounty Rune, and it seems Resolution is going to try and use that bottle refill to shut down Hao here in this top lane. He TP'd up to try and farm, but he knows that there's a good chance that he can very easily be soloed out between the Spirit Breaker having his level 6 and Storm Spirit being missing from that middle lane. The rest of Vici Gaming are actually now coming to counter any potential aggression against Hao, but it seems Empire not going to be taking the bait. 2 of their heroes have already run back.
Yeah, they should just get out, because nobody's at bottom. This ward alone keeps Silent feeling relatively safe. The mid gank is kind of pointless, right? Because nobody showed themselves mid. So it's just a process of elimination. where they just assume that they have to be at that top lane, especially since Hao's been pushing out this wave, and now that all 4 members are going to show themselves, I think the correct move is Resolution goes mid, Silent splits up bottom as much as they can, and then just farm out the jungle as often as you can. Like if I'm Resolution here, put as much pressure as I can mid, wait for the TPs to come, and then just rotate to the jungle.
Already a TP is coming in though from the Winter Wyvern, so it seems like Vici Gaming are actually going to defend this tier 1 tower and take the top one at the same time. As FY, especially over this copse of trees, is going to be able to get in a position for really early Winter's Curse to set things up, but he's actually just trying to throw things down. Now goes for the Winter's Curse, Resolution held in, and a Silence gets laid down, and Tombstone is unable to be dropped. Aloha Dance is going to start running himself back. Fenrir's the target of Yoki's aggression as he charges straight forward. Now pops the ultimate, trying to go and lock down Super. As Resolution comes forward, they're trying to get the last bit of damage on Super, who's super fast, and he will be able to get away from Empire as the low HP heroes give him enough move. Oh, Silent even came in for a remnant, but not able to get it. It's on the side. Hao makes his introduction, able to get at least the Spirit Breaker. Always want to fly. Very smart. Shallow Grave and TP out.
Yeah, not a bad trade actually, because they don't lose too much off of that. I think they killed Fenrir and they traded out Yoki, but he's not that integral to this game. It's more important that Silent just catches up in whatever way he can, because he's sitting at a pretty abysmal 36 CS. He's got 3 deaths. You can't really blame him though, because of the type of lane that he was against. And things are looking pretty bad for Empire, but Resolution still has the highest net worth in the game, which is pretty reassuring. And at the same time, one of the high net worths on the enemy team is Ice 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 playing this Undying, and so you're not too worried about it, because remember when Vega had the overfarmed Undying, like the net worth doesn't translate as well as other heroes.
True. Undying is going to go for that added utility, which is pretty usual for an Undying. He picks up not only the Arcane Boots, but will be going for the mech. Inevitable Guardian Greaves, but usually you have some couple other items picked up before you complete the set. FY, he's got himself that Soul Ring coming in, so a lot of spam is going to be heading the way. And this is one of the things I really love about the Winter Wyvern. You're going to see that Empire, they're presumably going to be staying away from a lot of 5 versus 5 team fights, right? More focus on split pushing and trying to go for pickoffs. This means that Winter Wyvern, he can potentially sit so far back when they go for the split push, and his team is pushing down, you know, 4-manning a tower, and there's no contest from Team Empire. He can actually go back and pseudo-defend some of that split pushing by sitting in the back and spamming out Splinter Blast.
Yeah, you're actually seeing that happen right now as FI rotates to this bottom lane, and it looks like with Hao there, they want to try to go on Silent, but they don't actually know that Aloha Dance is here prepared with his ultimate, and so things might be a little bit tricky here, but I mean, I'm just a little bit worried right now because Empire aren't going to have a lot of map presence because Resolution's opting to go for the Bloodstone, which is really common. You don't really have a lot of farm on your Ember Spirit, and that means if you have 2 cores that are essentially not providing anything for you in fights, you kind of have to avoid, and it means that the supports especially are going to get super underfarmed. Like, just look at the difference. FY is able to just kind of walk into lanes, throw out the Splinter Blast to farm, and he doesn't feel worried at all because he knows that Silent and Resolution are playing the catch-up game. And the reason for that is, once you're behind as a core, you've got one of 2 options. You either go for the safe farm, or you try to all-in to get a kill. And how often do you see a professional team just all-in to try to get a kill to catch somebody back into the game? It's just too chancy.
Team Empire. Silent's just playing so passively, and it's because he has to. I mean, Vici Gamer have already showed that they're willing to be super aggressive in shutting down the Ember Spirit. In fact, Vici Gaming are now just taking the jungle away from the Ember Spirit. Not even that is an option, as Tombstone being laid out by Ice 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 to farm that away. Empire is still getting a better deal out of the current farm route, though, as they're pushing in both middle and top lane, while Vici Gaming kind of 4-manning in the enemy jungle and not much else.
Yeah, and this is what, if you're Empire, and especially if you're Resolution, you want this to happen right now. Because Vici does have control of your jungle, but at the same time, they're not taking objectives very quickly. And so, usually the trade-off is, as a Stormsphere player, you farm out as much as you can, and then you wait for that one big fight once you have Bloodstone, and then everything changes, right? But when that typically happens, you're usually behind a lot of objectives, so it's really worrisome. But Vici, in their haste to try to, you know, clear out the jungle, split up the farm, they're not actually pressuring anything. And so they actually have to get around the map and try to do something. And they might go for this mid tower, but again, they're simply trading 1-for-1. And if you're a team that potentially has the better late game, like Empire does, then you want this to happen. Like, Resolution's going to get a free tower out of it, and now he's only 11, or actually he's quite a bit away off. He's like 2k off of his Bloodstone. You're kind of okay with that type of trade.
Vici Gaming are well set up to be able to catch anybody who tries to TP to defend the middle tower, but I feel like it's very obvious what Vici Gaming are doing here. I mean, Team Empire is still formatting up in that top lane because they know Vici Gaming have been spending all their time in the jungle, even if they, like, the smoke may come as a surprise to Team Empire, but they should know that Vici Gaming are still around that area. Now as Vici Gaming start backing themselves up, let's see if they actually catch anybody from Team Empire who maybe lingers a bit too long.
Yeah, Resolution just TP's mid, continuing to farm out the map, just wait things out as long as possible. But now the scary thing is that Hao is going to have an Orchid for the next fight, and that means that Empire almost always have to dodge fights now. You only wait for Vici Gaming to overextend because you just don't have the personnel or the amount of farm necessary to get into fights, and FY with this Invis rune is going to be quite scary too. But luckily for Empire, nobody's near him, but Vici Gaming have just been so good about invading the jungle at all times. I'm actually really impressed by how FY has been playing this entire game and maybe this series.
FY not able to find that opening, and seems a little birdie seemed to have taken Silent off. The fact that Vici Gaming were coming for a gank, Yoki is going to be the target of a rupture. The just charge top doesn't land. Yoki managed to dodge the silence at the very least. Now the Disruptor actually drops the ultimate and controlling Vici Gaming a bit. Yoki has that Shallow Grave protecting him for now. Goes for the charge out as the Rupture fades and almost got away. But now Winter Wyvern locks him down with the Winter's Curse. This is a lot expended for just the Spirit Breaker kill, but they will get it in the end as Yoki no longer has an escape.
Yeah, but meanwhile, at this bottom tower, Resolution just continues to play for the split push game. He shouldn't be afraid of this because he knows that the Winter's Curse has been used, so he actually just goes for the tower in front of their faces, but he has to get out for this, and he should be able to.
Roshan! Tell me! Oh, he bashed him up!
Oh, they know too because of the Bloodseeker! This is disastrous! He's just trying to suicide now!
Resolution dies just before Hao gets there. Now Roshan's pissed! He just bashes up Hao as well! Roche, have some mercy. These teams don't want to fight you yet.
Alright, I'm not biased towards any team, but I'm biased towards that hero, and that hurt to watch. Oh, that was painful. I saw it coming too, is the thing. You get that ominous feeling, you're like, that was a sick play, he grips the Winter Wyvern, and then of course he gets bashed by Roshan at the last second. He was gone too. Oh, that's so unfortunate for him.
Silent grabs the regeneration rune. The rest of the team is heading up to the top lane. They want a free pickoff on Fenrir. With the charge there, Aloha Dance can actually bring him back farther away from the tier 2 tower. This essentially means there's the rotation from Vici Gaming isn't going to be nearly as powerful. And they'll still get Fenrir, and it doesn't look like there's going to be a response from Vici Gaming in time. So well played by Team Empire, finding a small opening there.
That's their first successful gank.
Yes.
In quite some time. And so they're going to be really satisfied with that because, again, all it is opening up the map as much as possible.
They're going to go for Super next. He's already being charged out. Aloha Dance does have his ultimate. Sure enough, going all in for Super. The Cold Embrace is there, though, and Super will be kept alive. Now Yoki needs to make an escape. He's got 4 seconds until TP. Oh, he's just going to try and TP out the damage. Oh, is he there? Not enough. Spirit Breaker. Oh,
the burn. The Orchid burn is enough to kill him.
It kills him inside of the fountain, just barely.
Oh, that was so sick by Vici Gaming to turn that around. That Cold Embrace was perfectly placed. They just didn't have enough to kill Super, and that Orchid at the same time, the presence of mind for how to drop that was absolutely fantastic, and a good turnaround for them. That was just Empire being a little bit too greedy. Like, they should have been satisfied with getting the Vengeful Spirit, but they thought that Vici Gaming wouldn't foresee the second game coming, which they were correct. It just happened that Vici was all there, and they're going to be prepped to take this tier 1 tower.
Radiant's top tower has fallen.
Team Empire are still aggressively pushing forward in order to get as much farm as humanly possible. Silent is pushing into the tier 2 tower. Resolution is quick to try and push out that bottom lane as well. So they are making good use of the space that the Spirit Breaker created when he died. As we can now see that Bloodstone is up, and Silent will start building the first couple of damage items to working towards that Battle Fury.
Yeah, for a Storm, 20-minute battle or Bloodstone isn't too terrible considering that they don't have an overwhelming tower advantage or anything like that. I think it's a little bit slower than you would like, especially if you just decide to go for treads into the Magic Wand bottle standard setup, it's probably an item that you would prefer to have about 2 or 3 minutes faster. But especially with that Roshan death, like if that hadn't happened, he probably would have had it at 18 minutes. But this is really typical now. You're going to see that the Spirit Breaker showed himself top, so they don't see this gank coming. And the Storm picks up a Bloodstone, so they want to be able to get this kill. But Vici are completely prepared for it. How is coming in Invis behind them? This Orchid is just going to absolutely ruin this fight for them.
Oh, it really is. How starts popping the smoke.
They have no idea.
And Resolution, he's kind of jumping around a little bit. I feel like they know something is up. And sure enough, there goes the reveal of Hal. He throws the Orchid on to Always Want to Fly. Jump back in, though. Resolution, whoa! He actually tried to go for Hal there with the control of the Disruptor ultimate. But that was a bad idea. Empire may lose multiple heroes. Resolution, there it is. The Winter's Curse comes out from the Winter Wyvern to make sure that TP is not successful. All he's left is with the suicide play. Of course, Silent farming right underneath the nose of Vici Gaming because he knows he can. But it also is pretty poor trade-off for Team Empire, as Vici Gaming are now going to be able to take Roshan on top of the kills they got.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised. There's just been a lot of uncharacteristic moves by Empire because they knew that the Queen of Pain was Invis. When he dropped the Remnant on the ground and it got blown up, he knew. He started to run away, and then they saw that the fight was just not possible, especially when the Cold Embrace went on Hal. But then he re-engaged with his mana and just used his entire pull to try to get out in front of FY, who had the Winter's Curse up. And so what was originally meant to be a free Bloodstone charge for the Storm Spirit using that smoke, all of a sudden just completely turns around on them.
And we now have an Aegis for our Queen of Pain. Why do you think the Queen of Pain is chosen instead of Bloodseeker? I can see some merits to both.
Because if you're a Queen of Pain and you only have an Orchid, actually
Aloha Dance.
First, Aloha Dance should be going down for this.
Yeah, there goes the ultimate, and the last right click is there as well.
Yeah, as I was saying though, the Queen of Pain, if she just goes to the straight Orchid build and you have 4 levels of pull, you can actually do around 1300 damage because her armor, if you notice, is not that great. It's only 5 armor, 1100 HP, so if she's missing any sort of health, then the Storm from, if you max distance jump, you can almost always kill the Queen of Pain with just the Orchid. And so he can't do that to the Bloodseeker though, because the Bloodseeker has a lot of armor, he can just run away, zip out, he's got 1400 health, it's really unlikely, right? But it's pretty much just to secure that the Queen of Pain can't get opened up across from max distance.
Fair enough. 22 minutes in and 8-14. Vici Gaming obviously holding a bit of a lead after those last couple of events. A 3,000 gold lead, 1,500 experience. Of course, a pretty drastic thing is Resolution. First attempt they go for in order to get a Bloodstone charge, and he has to suicide, meaning he's only left with 5 now. Pretty bad position to be in. It's always the worst feeling when you pick up a Bloodstone and you die immediately.
It really is, because that's an item you just spent 20 minutes building up to, and then you just lose about 3 kills worth of charges in one setup. So it's not the worst thing in the world because he did manage to get the suicide off, but it's more that when you're trying to come back into a game, you're hoping that you're stacking up Bloodstone charges so that your buyback timer gets reduced, you have more mana regen. There's just a lot of benefits to having it stack up, obviously, but Vici Gaming correctly realized they have such an advantage right now with the Aegis and the Orchid, and there's no defensive item picked up on the Storm, and so they're going to try to march down for this in Resolution, trying to split the map, but Always Want to Fly, going to go down to this kill. Hal's got the Orchid ticking off on him as well, and that's just going to be a dominating spree for him.
Now, Silent, meanwhile, I was talking about the Battlefield build, but it should have been kind of tipped off with the early Orchid of the Queen of Pain, and Silent still trying to play catch-up. He goes for the Asha into the Manta to be able to dispel that Orchid's silence. Very smart pickup, especially since the stats will still help him out, and hopefully give him enough effectiveness that they can actually play some 5 versus 5, because it seems like Vici Gaming are not going to make it a question. It seems Empire are going to be forced into a 5 versus 5 sometime soon.
My concern right now for Empire is that even though they're going for the correct item choices, like Silent's going to go for the Manta, is he even going to get it close to near enough for it to actually matter? Because Hal just picked up a BKB and an Orchid. I really like this item build from Hal. He's punishing both the Storm Spirit and the Ember Spirit with one item pickup, and then by going for the Black King bar, it just allows him to continue to snowball, and there's nobody really on Empire that's really going to slow him down or scare him, because he can pop his BKB for most things. If he gets charged by the Spirit Breaker, then FY's there with the Winter's Curse or the Glimmer Cape. Like, there's just too many options right now for him.
Vici Gaming centering up to try and push uphill. They still have that Aegis available. At the same time, the top lane is pushing into the tier 3 tower. Seems like a shame to waste that kind of farm, but they still want to go for it. Now already jumping in, the Orchid being placed onto Resolution, but not a whole lot of damage being placed on him. In fact, if anything, Hao has taken probably 10 times the amount he dished out. Silent is going to run himself back a little bit, right into that Rupture. Meanwhile, the rest of Empire now going to be initiated. It's Hao. It's a pretty good Sonic Wave, but both supports stay alive for a little while longer. In fact, Hao, now locked down by Yoki, is going to be losing his Aegis. Resolution, though, immediately caught out by that Winter's Curse. He goes down, but so too does the Queen of Painfall. Now, Resolution comes back, and he desperately needs some kills in order to make that Bloodstone work. Then the charge comes in, bumps back to Ice, now controlled by Resolution as well. Needs another right-click, and he'll get him as well as Super. Somebody right-click somebody. There goes the Undying. There goes the Bloodseeker as well. And to wrap things up, it is going to be FY dying as well. A great fight for Team Empire, as Vici Gaming maybe just forced it a bit too much under the guise that Aegis would give them the advantage.
Honestly, the Spirit Breaker just went to town on the Queen of Pain, and at the same time, you don't really have... If you look at Vici Gaming's lineup, what do they lack? They don't really have the best way to assault the tower, especially when your Bloodseeker doesn't have a BKB. There's no real safe way for him to just hit the tower, and so they had to send Hao first, but they try to get aggressive first, and they managed to pick up a kill on the Storm Spirit, yes, but you don't have the best way to assault, and you definitely don't have the best way to sustain, and so Empire able to clean that up pretty nicely. Resolution with a well-timed buyback, but he still doesn't have even Bloodstone charges, and Empire is still on the back foot, but a few more fights like that, and you could suddenly see Empire start to take control again.
Absolutely. I mean, the top two net worth on the board is both the Bloodseeker and the Queen of Pain, but the next three is Storm Spirit, the Ember Spirit, and you're seeing the power of the Spirit Breaker. His offlane, his interaction in these team fights as an offlaner is so much greater and will be much greater than the Undying. As you said, he kind of drops off as time goes on. 25 minutes is probably the peak effectiveness as an Undying, and every single fight after this is going to be getting a little bit weaker.
Yeah, if you remember in the beginning, he was like second in net worth, and since then he's actually fallen off quite a bit because it's just the nature of the hero. You really rely on getting those early fights off. You want to take those fights where you're in 2v3 situations where you have one support backing you up so that you get the most out of your kill gold and assist gold. But eventually, you don't have the best farming mechanic. You can't really rely on the jungle. It's just pretty much non-stop fights for you. So Undying is almost always going to naturally just fall off when it relates to farm. And Silent does have a Manta style now. He was quite far away from it beforehand, but manages to pick up one, and Yoki has to be careful. He should be able to TP out of this, and Empire just continuing to split the map and save time as much as they can because they realize Vici Gaming have to wait for the next Roshan before they go for anything. Especially with how that last fight went. You're going to wait for a BKB and probably a BKB on Super and probably the next Aegis before you do anything. So how long do you think that is? The next 3 or 4 minutes at the very least, where Resolution can just continue to get farm, where Silent continues to catch up.
Now, I love you, Blitz, but I'm going to try my hand a little bit of Storm Spirit analysis.
Shoot.
So the Storm Spirit versus Queen of Pain matchup. The Storm Spirit, when he gets Orchid, it's Orchid versus Orchid. The Storm Spirit is superior solely because of the fact he has a disable, right? Yoki. All right, Witch's Curse being used there. A good ultimate from Aloha Dance. Well, maybe with the
Maybe they turn this around.
Oh my god, he's going to be able to jump in. Yoki's still alive with that BKB. Now, with the ultimate coming in for the Queen of Pain, they finally finish
this
him off,
is disaster.
but it's still Empire making a big-time win here as they take out 3 and potentially a 4th. Ice is stuck in the middle. They address the tombstone, bring Ice back for more punishment. TP out attempted by him, but he's not going to make it out. And Empire, a huge turnaround here. It's now 4 kills for 1. That was, I was like looking at it, Aloha Dance, I was like, oh, that's a great ultimate. I just don't see them being able to do much more. But with Silent coming in and Yoki surviving for so long thanks to that BKB, they just tore Vici Gaming a new one.
That fight was absolutely insane. I think Vici Gaming really overestimated how strong they were, because if you notice, that's a team that got a little bit too overconfident, and you can judge that by the fact that they went in 1 by 1, assuming that they were going to kill the Spirit Breaker, get out relatively cleanly, but Aloha Dance's ultimate and his kinetic field, it bought way too much time for Yoki to get everything off, and then the rest of the team arrives, the cavalry comes, and now you've got 11 Bloodstone charges on Resolution.
Yeah, and that's just insane. Plus, he's going to be able to have that Orchid now, so... Oh, and level 3 Ball Lightning as well. Can you explain to me real quick why he chose to go for Orchid rather than the BKB?
Yeah, for sure. So typically you're going to see the Storm Spirits almost always nowadays go for the Bloodstone, the Treads. And you might want to say, okay, why doesn't he go for a Yule Scepter or something of that nature? It's mainly because the Winter Wyvern is always going to be an issue.
Yep.
Like if he goes for a BKB, he's just going to get Winter's Cursed. You run out the timer and you're going to have difficulties no matter what. And so it's just better to go for the Orchid. So you zip past the Queen of Pain, and hopefully your team engages on her at the same time. You go for the Winter Wyvern, and you continue to roll and make it difficult for the Queen of Pain to get on top of you. But if you don't have the Orchid, you actually don't do a lot of damage, for one, and you don't have the attack speed, which is really underrated on Storm. So this is almost always the build that you're going to have to see. Because even if it might be a little bit more efficient to go for the Sheep, you just don't do a lot of damage with it.
Right.
It's almost all in-ish.
Vici Gaming now centered up around the Roshan pit, though that one's not really up for another 10 to 15 seconds, besides the fact that Team Empire are pretty aggressively pushing in that top lane. Resolution and Aloha Dance are knocking on that tier 3 tower just to see who's going to respond. Are they going to jump in? Yep, they're going to try and grab Hao and take him out, but a really good silence placed out from Super and managed to force the rest of the team back. Now Resolution caught by that Winter's Curse will be able to get the kill there. Always want to fly the next target. Shallow Grave and a TP out. Nope, swap is there from Fenrir, and Always Want to Fly will join Resolution in the grave. So their first real attempt at being very aggressive on Vici Gaming turns very poor.
Yeah, they overcommitted by that tier 3 tower. They had to have known that most of Vici Gaming was going to be behind there, and that Winter's Curse is so effective against the Storm Spirit, and they just overcommitted for that a little bit too much. I think the plan was to have the Spirit Breaker run in at the same time as the Orchid completes to do maximum damage on the Queen of Pain and blow her up. But he was just a little bit too far behind, and once he noticed the Queen of Pain was about to BKB, Yoki turns tail, tries to run away, but at that point Empire had committed a little bit too much for that.
And now Vici Gaming with a very strong Roche-taking lineup between the Blood Rage of the Bloodseeker being put on Roshan, as well as the minus armor of the Vengeful Spirit, plus the increased damage of Vengeance Aura. They will be able to get the Aegis into the hands of... Nope, they actually give it to Hao again, so...
I think they're always going to give it to Hao.
Okay.
He's only got 1200 HP. Even with the BKB, if you look at his charges, he only has 7, and Super should have 10.
Yeah.
Because he just recently picked it up, and so...
I guess I just figured between the magic immunity of BKB plus the fact that he's almost got an Assault Cuirass, like he's got the big armor item of Plate Mail, maybe that's enough tankiness. Even though he doesn't have HP, he's got a lot of mitigation, that it could be enough, but...
Because the Storm just rolls past him, and then... if you get hit by one Sleight of Fist, you pretty much die. And so I think it's a really good idea to continue to give it to Hao, especially with how aggressively he's playing in. Like, he's blinking in pretty far to try to create an opening for his team. And you can't really get that out of the Bloodseeker. On this, smoke is actually going to do a lot. They actually see him with the ward here too. This is so smartly placed by them. Yoki just has to run.
Oh, he popped the active there and is actually staying one step ahead of Vici Gaming. Super's trying to get a Rage of the Rupture, but at this point, he's getting close to the tier 2 tower. It's too late. If they really want this, they're going to have to force a fight around a tier 2 tower. That's just not going to happen. So Yoki, he just TPs away, and immediately the rest of Vici Gaming back themselves up. Bottom lane, Silent continues to push forward. He almost has a Battle Fury.
That was the good part of them showing themselves at top, because it means that Silent can continue to pressure this without feeling too worried, but that was just sick game sense by Yoki. There's not a whole lot to tip him off from that. There's not even a single ward by them there. He just kind of read the situation, because it's not even that he ran away, it's that he empowering hasted and didn't go for the TP or anything.
There's that Assault Cuirass for Queen of Pain. Presumably you continue the right-click build for a Quap now. What is the next item as a Queen of Pain that's trying to look towards more physical damage from her right-clicks? Where do you go from here? Sight the Vice?
Yeah, I think you still go for the Hex. You absolutely need it against the majority of the cores on Empire. Now that there is a Manta style on this Ember Spirit, you want a more reliable way of locking him down other than your Orchid, because the Storm Spirit's going to go for a BKB of his own, right? And Silent's actually not going to have a BKB for quite some time. You're going to have to use the Winter's Curse on either the Spirit Breaker or the Storm Spirit. And so you have no reliable lockdown against an Ember Spirit, so it has to be the Hex.
Why do you think you don't reverse the item choices there and go for maybe even get like the plate mail and then go for the Scythe of Vice and finish up the AC afterwards, instead of finishing the complete AC first and then going for the disable item later, because the Scythe of Vice seems to be such a critical item for Vici Gaming to stop both the Storm and Ember from doing whatever they want in team fights.
It's just good at fighting against physical damage. It serves that purpose, because if you think about it, there's the Spirit Breaker on the other team. You can negate a lot of his right-click damage. Same with the Storm. You just help your team so much because of the armor aura. At the same time, it's good against the Sleight of Fist, especially. And if you're having trouble taking high ground or you're having trouble hitting towers, then it's especially effective.
Yeah, and if you look at the way the Vici Gaming are set up for a 5-man team fight, they've not only got the armor now of Assault Cuirass, but they also have the armor of Mech / Guardian Greaves, which, as your hero drops low enough, they get a big increase in armor, up to an increase of 10 once they drop below 20%. So, melee racks, that swap in. They're going to go for Yoki and do successfully blow him up with the Sonic Wave, and he does not have a buyback. It seems really good ultimate there from Aloha Dance as they target Ice, but now Resolution is hit by that Winter's Curse. Great Shallow Grave, though, is going to keep Resolution alive, and back to the fountain he goes, where he'll heal up and come back once again for vengeance. And the melee racks is about to fall. Vici Gaming, though, can't stick around for too long. The buyback out from the Disruptor is going to look for a glimpse pickoff, but they need vision first, and it just hits nighttime as well. Silent is desperate to be able to see someone, and he's seen how. They'll bring him right back in. He does have that Aegis, makes the blink away. Super is the next target of Resolution, who has just enough mana to be able to make a pull, and Super will end up falling here. Great pickoff for the buyback of the Disruptor. Doesn't look like they're going to get anything more, though.
Yeah, they managed to hold the melee barracks, which is the more important one. It might actually go down. It's so low.
Oh my god, are you kidding me? It's got 75 HP, regenning
They're running as fast as they can.
It's fine, it's fine. The creeps will take out the siege wagon, and the melee racks will survive. So it'll regen back up to full, given enough time.
How upset do you think they would have been if they lost their Rex?
Incredible.
After that defense, they held for so long, and then it's one single catapult that ruins their dreams. But managing to hold on to that Rex, even after the Aegis once again, just kind of, it has to bolster Empire's confidence. And at the same time, the Storm didn't even die in the middle of the Winter's Curse because Always Wanna Fly had such a clutch grave. Like, he might have missed a few in the early game, but that makes up for all of them. And at the same time, How might be the target. They have a DD rune. They know he's there. He's smoked up at the same time, and they might try to look for a quick pickoff, and Resolution's going to miss.
FY already blinked himself back. So it seems the smoke is a missed opportunity here. Vici Gaming are going to back up and do a smoke of their own. Fenrir funneling it out to them on the courier right now.
Yeah, they should be really worried about this right now because Empire is actually in the losing position because you don't want to be caught out here by the smoke. It's almost certainly going to mean at least one set of racks. Oh, and I don't actually think they know this is coming, and this might actually just surprise them as...
Hot Dance is still in a good position to be able to respond to this one. If he gets off a good ultimate, BKB activated on both the intelligence. They do get the ultimate off on Resolution. And with the Winter's Curse, but the Shallow Grave is there. He's going to be able to roll himself out of that one. But the Bloodseeker is still plenty fast thanks to all that missing HP. So he's going to be able to run down a couple of heroes. First is Always Wanna Fly. Next up, Silent on his list. He only needs 1 or 2 right clicks. And yeah, he pops the BKB just to make sure that Chains doesn't delay the death of the Amber Spirit. 2 kills for that smoke, and Vici Gaming will now be able to take that melee racks, which survived for so long, but in the end, it falls to Vici Gaming.
It's definitely going to go down, and you're just seeing the Ember Spirit being so far behind in farm. He can't actually provide too much of the fight. Resolution can go in all he wants, but he's going to get stopped dead in his tracks by the Winter's Curse every time. And they just can't really put out enough damage, especially with How having this Assault Curse. And here we go.
Ice. That's a glimpse back. Now FY comes in with a cold embrace. The rest of Vici Gaming seems like they want to fight this one. It's going to be a 3 versus 5. They already got the Disruptor thanks to How and his Orchid plus Blood Rage damage. So, not so good an idea for Empire to challenge. Now, let's swap out. Yoki's going to be caught as well. Silent stunned up, and bad turns to worse. Empire are very fortunate that they're in a situation where Vici Gaming can't actually take a second lane of racks because they have both of their tier 2s up in the side lanes. But that was still disastrous, feeding more kills to Vici.
I'm actually really surprised that Empire decided to go for that semi-defense and show themselves on the map because they know that Vici Gaming clearly knows that the Ember Spirit is down, and with Winter's Curse about to be up, the Storm Spirit doesn't want to get into a direct 3v5 type of fight. So I think the better move there is just to wait for the Ember Spirit, give up your racks, and try not to lose any more casualties, and try to mount another defense, and hopefully rack up more Bloodstone charges, get a little bit more farm on the Ember Spirit. But now with those deaths that just happened, you know that Empire are almost entirely going to be really poor, and even if they hold in this situation, they're probably going to need buybacks for it, and it's going to cost too much because Silent, that would kill his farm progression. He just wouldn't have any more farm.
So as they push forward, the Disruptor comes back, and this time around Vici Gaming will make a very early exit in order to ensure nobody gets picked off. They start marching over to Roshan, and potential spawn time right now, the actual spawn time, 20 seconds. Rather lucky for Vici Gaming, I think, though all of Empire is up to contest.
I almost think they have to contest the Roshan now, because they just don't deal enough damage on this Ember Spirit. He manages to pick up a Chrysalis, but that Queen of Pain, instead of going for the Hex, just decided to go for the Daedalus, and I am shocked at how quickly she kills the supports on Empire. I think she got a 3-shot onto the Disruptor. The Dazzle is even weaker than the Disruptor is. He does have a Solar Crest, but I don't really think that matters when you only have 948 HP to back yourself up. And
poor Roshan, dear God.
He dies so quickly. Imagine that's the Disruptor now.
Aegis for How, Cheese for Super, who's about to finish up a Butterfly as well.
That is an insane amount of farm right now. They don't have an MKB. They're nowhere near it. Your Ember Spirit is just so far behind, and this might have been one of the games where I've seen Silent pressured the most. Like I'm used to seeing him go 10-0, have a ridiculous amount of farm, but Vici Gaming have just done such a good job of shutting down the cores of Empire this entire game.
And now, even more armor aura, with the Vlads coming in on the Courier. Vici Gaming well set up to win this last team fight to end all team fights, conceivably. Very few comebacks when 2 racks are down, but Empire, they're trying to even things out. They're already trying to push up that top lane. Tier 3 tower, though, being threatened by How between the Blood Rage and the Assault Cuirass. His right clicks are something fearsome. There's that Butterfly, as well as the Vlads. Vici Gaming now ready to commit to the push uphill.
You can't really sacrifice 2 racks if you're here as Empire, because you'll just lose too much map control and they'll go for the smoke. So I really feel like this has to work for them right now, because there's not a whole lot of farm progression that's coming in.
Oh, Stormshire jumping in on the back. BKB already activated. He really needs to get FY, but there goes the Glimmer Cape Resolution. Still sees a little bit of him. He's going to be able to knock him back with Yoki, and they will almost take him out. No, he gets a Golden Brace. Now a great Sonic Wave from the Queen of Pain. They will be able to finish off FY in the end, but oh, the heroes are going to get cleaned up on the side of Empire in exchange for that one support. Now, as they jump forward, always one fly is going to be the next target. Shallgrave and TP out Resolution. His second life, he comes back and goes straight for Super, but has to jump himself away as he drops too low. And Vici Gaming have enough sustain to now be able to focus on that melee rack. Silent Orchid it up, needs some help. That comes from Resolution, finishes off the Queen of Pain's Aegis. Super, though, will get that range racks. How backs himself up with the Blink, and Team Empire. Second lane of racks down. Team Empire gonna be struggling heavily. It's 43 minutes in, a 15,000 gold lead for Vici Gaming. They wanted to just make this a clean 1-1 against Vici Gaming, probably one of the tougher teams in their group, but as time goes on, that doesn't seem to be possible.
It's just insane how long it takes for them to even get the Winter Wyvern down. They had to fully commit 3 heroes in that pursuit, a full BKB timer, the Ember Spirit's life, and they still barely killed FY. His positioning this game has been so good. He's just waiting by his teammates, willing to back people up. He's not even really relying on the Winter's Curse anymore. Like, just him being alive scares Resolution so much.
I mean, the first thing that FY did was a quick blink backwards that actually stalled up Resolution's damage so heavily and played a very key part in the Winter Wyvern surviving as long as he did. Now, How? He's going to be forced into a BKB here. Yoki still has his ultimate. If they get enough bashes, maybe they can kill How, but never mind. Yoki just gets cleaned up nice and fast to swap out, plus the Cold Embrace is there. How? Double saved by his allies, and Team Empire drop another 2 cores. Aloha Dance trying to get himself out, but he's going to be run down pretty quickly. Pops his smoke, but FY's there with the Blink, and that'll be a 3rd death for Team Empire.
Yeah, Aloha Dance is making a valiant effort to try to get out of here, but every single hero on Empire on Vici Gaming right now is in hot pursuit, trying to keep himself away.
Oh my god.
No, he got crit.
That was close. So Vici Gaming, I mean, that's actually really good for them, right? They managed to stall up the Disruptor's death so long that by the time they get through this Tier 2 and Tier 3 tower, Disruptor's is still not going to be up.
Yeah, he doesn't even have buyback for this fight. He tried to go all in to try to get the Aghanim Scepter, and maybe that item actually would have changed their fortunes. Like, if he could have gotten it off before Hao was able to get his BKB, before FY gets his Glimmer Cape off, then maybe you would have seen some form of a comeback, but as it stands, Vici Gaming, their farm lead is just too much. Like, Ember Spirit is a core that is meant to be behind early, but not by this amount.
So, Mega Creeps, it seems like Team Empire gonna be losing this game with a whimper and not a bang. Empires, I guess, are just gonna try and battle it out against Mega Creeps. I mean, it's TI after all. If there's even the slimmest chance of being able to come back, they'll go for it. They've got an Ember Spirit after all, but he still needs a ton more farm to be able to deal with Megas.
Today has been the I don't want to say throws. I think that's a bad term. It's been the day of comebacks.
Yep, day of crazy comebacks to be sure. Silent almost gets caught out. Oh, that is the combination right there. Rupture into a swap. That was like the 950 range swap that practically kills the Dazzle straight up. And now Vici Gaming, I love this spacing from them. They are not taking any chances when it comes to ending this game. They put Hao in the front lines and leave the rest of the team sitting farther back, well spaced, to make sure that Empire don't get some sort of opportunity to initiate.
He got Houdini. I saw him and then I didn't.
Jump in.
The target now.
Yep, he gets blown up by the Sonic Wave now. A Wind's Curse placed on Aloha Dance, and finally there it is. Empire will call it. Game number 2 goes to Vici Gaming.
Yeah, and I really felt like Empire could have done this, but there were so many errors in that bottom lane, especially where they just couldn't really contest anything, and even with the overall decent mid game that they had with the timings, it just all fell apart so quickly.
So we see some of the essentials there for Team Empire to challenge some of the stronger teams here at TI, but they got to get their act together. Right?
They really do.
They just dropped, too many